What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for a recap and review of the movie I Love Boosters. Yesterday, I did a little short blurb on how I felt about the movie as I exited the theater. And no, my opinion has not changed. I do not recommend this movie to anyone. However, I felt it only fair if I gave you a short recap about the movie itself. This is a movie that was um, written and directed by Boots Riley and executive produced by Keke Palmer. I was so disappointed. I really did want to contact Keke Palmer and ask her for my money back. But I did get a free movie pass from the movie theater because I was so disgusted with this movie that I went out and I talked to the manager and asked him and told him how I felt about it. And he offered me a free movie pass. So in a sense, I kind of got my money back, but I did buy this on the discount. So, whatever. Anywho, so Boots Riley, he's not somebody that's well known to probably regular viewers or regular film goers or what have you, but he's a rapper. Oh shit, my damn necklace fell off. He's a rapper. He's I guess you would say he's an actor. He's acted in one movie that I'm aware of. And he's, I guess you'd call him a director, since he's directed a couple movies as well. Filmmaker, independent filmmaker is what I like to call him. Outside of this movie, I Love Boosters. This is his second project. His first project was Sorry to Bother You. Just as a disclaimer, I did not like that movie either. However, I feel like if you did like Sorry to Bother You, that this movie still is not something that you're going to like, in my opinion. Okay, so Sorry to Bother You, it starred Lakeith Stanfield. He's also in this movie as well. And in Sorry to Bother You, there was a message that was basically carried the film. The message was, this was a telemarketer, a black man, who had to code switch, take on this white voice in order to become part of corporate America and rise up in the corporate stratosphere, right? And he kind of, once he rose to the top, rose up, he was able to understand what the horrors of corporate America could be, the corporate conspiracies that lie within, almost like black people who want to be MAGA. They get in, they do whatever they can to fit in with society. And then once they get in, they realize that they really don't like your ass either. Okay. That they will fuck you over just as well as they will fuck over anybody else. Yeah. That's basically what Sorry to Bother You was about. So like I was saying in the short yesterday, or I didn't say it in the short, I said it in the comment section. I understand what the message is with I Love Boosters. It doesn't make the movie good. Same thing I felt about Sorry to Bother You. Boots Riley also did a TV series on Amazon Prime. What the heck was the name of that TV series? I'm a Virgo. Something like that. Yeah, I'm a Virgo. It was about a 13-foot black man. Yes, 13 feet, child. And he was basically exploring consumerism as well. Back in the day, 2023, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, Boots Riley actually starred in a movie. In this movie, basically, he was a black trucker, and he weaseled his way, so to speak, into getting a trucking contract in order to clean up a massive oil spill. So there's always some type of message that Boots Riley is trying to present in his movies. The same again with I Love Boosters. Is basically the little man going against corporate America, specifically in this case, the fashion industry, which I think that's why Keke Palmer wanted to get in on this project, because she loves fashion. Okay, so I have no idea why the rest of the people wanted to get in on it. Boots Riley, though, he's a character. You know George Clinton, how his style of dress is, Huggy Bear, the old pimps back in the 70s. That's Boots Riley today. That's exactly who he is as a person today. And I see that he always has that type of character in one of his movies. That would be Lakeith Stanfield. Lakeith Stanfield was like an old sweaty pimp. The movie wasn't set back in the 70s, which that's one thing that Boots Riley likes to do. He likes to set it back in olden day. This was supposed to be a modern era movie, but you had this character, Lakeith Stanfield, who was like, think of a nasty pimp that's sweaty than a motherfucker all the time and always want to talk up in your face. That was Lakeith Stanfield. And he was supposed to be the sex symbol in this movie. Beats the fuck out of me. Then we had Demi Moore. She was the fashion maven, who the one who was running this big conglomerate business that was fucking over the small men. Don Cheadle was also in the movie. He was dressed in full costume, so you barely didn't even know who he was unless you just know Don Cheadle's style of acting. But he was basically the one that was running the pyramid scheme in the movie. But then there was other comedians that I can't remember their names off the top of my head. But there was other comedians that was in this as well who played different roles in the news. You had the angry black woman. You had the welfare. Oh, she played also the welfare mama. Then we had the guy who was dealing with immigration and all the typical stories that you see in the news that you'd be like, God, I hope they ain't black. That type of, those type of people. So a lot of different comedians were playing those people. And they were a major factor when it comes to Demi Moore's organization. Keke Palmer, she was one of the main characters. She's the only character whose name I remember, and her name was Corvette. Her real name was Cassandra, but they called her Corvette through this whole movie. Lakeith Stanfield, he was like a low-budget model, like I said, and also the love interest or the one that everybody was fawning over. He like modeled for Ross and TJ Maxx, stuff like that, right? His name was the Pinky Ring guy. They didn't really even give him a name. Don Cheadle's character was Dr. Jackie, I believe it was. I remember his name. But then Keke Palmer had two sidekicks. Now, the young lady that played in what's the movie I could think of? Mickey 17. She was in it. And then what's the other girl? Where did she? I can't think of the other actress. I see her face in the role, but I can't think of the show that she was on. There's another black comedian actress that was on here. That was basically her sidekicks, right? And then there was this new, introducing this new Asian character named Poppy Liu. I think that was her last name, Liu. She also played a role. Can't remember who else was in this movie that was even worth talking about. Nobody is worth talking about, put it like that. Nobody is worth talking about. So again, the whole thing of this is that these people are going up against this big fashion industry, have no reason or understanding of why this movie is called I Love Boosters. Unless your love is just at the fact that they're going up against this fashion industry. That's the only thing I can see why. Because I know some people I know love a good booster. Back in the day, my mama used to be a booster. They used to boost meat, honey. Come out of National Store, Kroger's, or whatever, and have all them T-bone steaks and everything. They would boost clothes, and they would go into the salons and be the first one to sell you some stuff. I love a good booster, too, when they got some good product. So in this particular case, they was boosting from everywhere, but their main focus was on Demi Moore's company. Okay, so the movie starts off. This is spoilers. The movie starts off with Keke Palmer. She's going into a club. You know, she's dancing. And I thought that song by Young Miami called Spin That Shit. Spin That Shit. Spin That Shit. I thought that was going to be part of this movie because it was about boosters and that song is about boosters. They had nothing to do with one another. If they played that song in this movie, I didn't hear it. It should have been part of the soundtrack. That might have made me like the movie a little bit more. You know, a good soundtrack will do some things for you. But anyway, so she's coming into this club and she's dancing. And she's dancing in the mirror and she catches Lakeith Stanfield, the Pinky Ring guy, staring at her in the mirror. She turns to him. She has this automatic magnetic attraction to him that I simply can't understand. And when she looks him up and down and she turns and she sees another guy off to the side and she hones in on him. So you see her dance with him through the night, what have you, what have you. And they're flirting and everything, and she talks him in to coming back to her spot. Well, he thinking he finna get some ass. That's pretty much what it was. You know what I'm saying? They get up to the spot, come to find out she just trying to sell him some stolen shit. So of course he pissed off, right? But in the club, she had asked him like what size his shoes is and stuff like that. He thinks she's talking about his dick. So he like, okay, I wear a size 12. You know, I ain't got to lie about that, this, that, the third, right? They go into the little apartment, and when he realized that she trying to sell him some shit, he get upset and everything. And then she just so simply say, well, you know what? When you ready to step your game up because you want to be fly, you want to remain fly, whatever, I'll be right here. And so then he sits there and says, all right, give me a size 10. Just to let he lying about his size. Okay. I don't know if that was supposed to be a funny moment. It wasn't for me. It was really drab and drawn out. Even the way that Keke Palmer acted that character out, it was so lackluster. There was no emotion. She was just so dry the whole fucking film. So matter of fact, but dry at the same time. Like, you know, you need me. Monotone. Her monotone in almost all her delivery. Her makeup was pissing me off. I don't know if it was intentional or they just edited or cut these scenes, but there was a lot of scenes where her lip liner was all up here. She had some makeup on her chin down here. And it was always around her mouth that it was flicked. That really bugged the shit out of me. Because they kept on putting very bold colors on her lips, which looked very good as far as like the color choices. It's just that it was like, y'all didn't see that, y'all didn't line that shit up. Was she doing her makeup in the dark? And I didn't think it was going to be intentional, simply for the fact that her style of dress was like on point. You know how Keke Palmer dresses. Her style of dress was pretty much on point through this whole fucking movie. So next we go to where she actually lives, because where she was boosting and where she had all her inventory for her boosting ain't where she lived. Where she lives is she's homeless pretty much. And she has taken over this abandoned chicken restaurant, kind of like Ponderosa. You know what I'm saying? Ponderosa don't exist no more, but if you go into a Ponderosa building, you can still smell the chicken that they used to cook there. That's basically what this restaurant is. And her friend, which again, I can't remember her name, so I'm calling her Mickey 17, because I know that's what movie she was in, one of the movies she was in. And they live there together. They have to nigger rig the water just to get a shower going, things like that. And they got all this clothing around them, but they're steady stealing more stuff. My thing is, you have this apartment with all these clothes. You have this whole chicken restaurant where you live at with all this clothing and inventory. You ain't moving that shit. So what is the point of stealing more? Because you ain't moving the shit you already got. That was one of my takes. Nobody ever addressed the fact that they weren't moving the shit that they already had. So we go do, while we're out moving on to the next phase of the movie, there's this big ball rolling down the hill. Keke Palmer is having nightmares and dreams. She's seeing shit. And basically, it's her life, just a pile of junk. Her life has become a pile of shit. You know, people know she's squatting in that restaurant. They about to kick her out soon. They leaving notes on the door saying, we know you here. That really didn't go anywhere. That whole storyline didn't go any fucking where about them actually coming to get her out of that restaurant. She stayed there the whole fucking movie. Nobody fucked with her or bothered her at all. The entire movie. So I don't even know why that was part of the script. But anywho, so like I said, you see like the sinks, you see like bills, eviction notices, cell phones. You see everything that life encompasses, just like about to roll over her and boil her over. Like she can't take it any fucking more. So there's something different that she has to do with her life. So we go to their first job, the first gig that they're for to steal. And it's a group of them, you know. She has a white girl that's with her, her two black friends, and they have to set up these so-called stings, basically distract the other store owners or the management people, the staff, so they can get out what they need to get out. They are running out of the stores with full racks of shit. Kind of like if you see somebody running out of Family Dollar that just stole all that damn laundry detergent, just in their hands, just taking off. That's basically what they're doing. They're not like just taking, the clothes only, stuffing them somewhere where you can't be seen, or filling up a baby cart. No, they got whole racks of shit. The whole rack. They're running out of store and jumping in the van, taking the shit. And when they did their first job, you could see that Keke Palmer was like, I'm so over this. I'm done with this, but I need to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they get away with that first one and they become part of the news. So on the news, you see Demi Moore's character. Like I say, she's the one that's running this fashion industry. I forgot the name of her industry. She's talking about the fact that her stores are getting boosted because this is what they're doing. They're boosting this specific woman, which is the reason why they are boosting this woman was because how much they loved her fucking clothes. Not that they couldn't stand her as the way that the movie suggested, that they was going after, big consumerism or big corporate America or the fashion industry. It's because they adored this woman and they adored her clothes. So that's why they were stealing from her stores. And they heard that she had some $100,000 suits that they wanted to get their hands on, but they couldn't understand or couldn't even explain or articulate how the fuck they was going to move these $100,000 suits on the streets. They didn't have access to the black market, nothing like that. They was trying to sell to regular, everyday customers who will most likely buy food stamps from you. Okay, that's who they was trying to sell to. So the amount of stuff that they were buying didn't equate to the customer base, the consumer base, which is why they probably couldn't move a lot of shit. So she's on the news though, and she's talking about them specifically. I think they gave them the name the Velvet Girls or some shit like that. And she's calling them ghetto and ratchet and hood rats and bitches and this, that, and the third. This is her on the news, or she was also live streaming it, and she would go off on them. They felt some kind of way because she was talking about them like a dog, that she called them ghetto hood rat bitches. Based off of what I've seen so far, that's what y'all are. Okay. But that's their first point of contention with her. Like I say, they admired her. Keke Palmer admired her so fucking much that she tried to sneak into her apartment just to get a piece of her. She was reading the lady's book. Okay. They didn't have real jobs. They didn't want real jobs. Sometimes you see people that's stealing. They're doing it because there's no other option. There's no other way out. Some of it, they have a habit of it, but they just didn't want jobs. They just felt that this was more in their lane of what they could do, what their skill sets were. Okay. In the meantime, one of the girls was trying to make some fast money as an entrepreneur. So she convinced Keke that, okay, if you want to get out of this life, how about come to me, get some spiritual talk and some spiritual awakening, some enlightenment, come to a TED Talk type of situation, and then we can both make some money. We can both get fed. We would call these pyramid schemes. They go into this doggone furniture store, and it's a bunch of people sitting there just talking about how to make money. And the whole explanation was, you at the bottom of the totem pole. They got all like Oprah and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these people's name on the pyramid, right? And right now you're at the bottom. But if you bring 2 more people in, then you can rise up to the top. Okay, so that's the whole point of the scam. Shay, that's the friend. The friend name was Shay, Mickey 17. So Shay decided that she was going to do it, and she had already invested $2,000 in order to do this. The person who was over this again was Don Cheadle's character, Dr. Jackie. He looked like one of Eddie Murphy's characters from Coming to America, except he had super duper long locks and he had a very high pitched voice like he was Michelle A. Okay, he was talking a whole lot of nonsense. Really, he wasn't saying much at all, other than you come at the bottom, you give me your 2,000, and you can rise to the top. So eventually, you're gonna be at the top of this pyramid too. Essentially, suggesting that this is how these people whose names we are seeing, these popular people whose names we're seeing, kind of made their money. Stepping on the backs of the ones underneath us, really not doing anything to make the money other than using other people's income to rise. That's pretty much what they're saying. So Keke wasn't down with that, she wasn't into it. And every once in a while, Keith Stansfield character would just pop the fuck up somewhere. Pop up behind him and right here in her damn face. And every time that he talks to her, she like loses her fucking mind. Like the earth starts shaking, the world starts wobbling, and she's zooming in and out. She can't focus, she loses her breath, she doesn't know what's going on. And it's almost like he's trying to glimmer her. You know how vampires would do? I was trying to glimmer her to get her mind control type of situation. If I'm not mistaken, he wore the same sweaty ass outfits the whole entire time too. He had a perm that he kept flicking out his damn face, but he was always fucking sweaty in her face, and his mascara was running and all over the goddamn place. I mean, with him specifically, I know they were doing bad makeup. Because he had like lines of mascara or eyeshadow just in his creases, and it was smearing and shit like that. Because he's always fucking sweaty. So they exchanged phone numbers and everything, and then they was gonna get together because she was into him, and all her friends thought he was fine. Okay, so we go for the next job, and the next job, the white girl couldn't show. I forgot the reason why. So the other friend, what was her name? She's kind of like the hippie type friend. You know, the character, the last movie that Keke Palmer did with SZA, she's basically SZA's character. That's really what she was. They just reinvented this fucking character and put her in this movie. And I can't remember what her name was. If I'm invested in the movie, I probably would know the character's name. I can't remember her name. I couldn't remember their fucking names once I left out of the theater. So I need to figure out the girl name. Hold on, let me see if I can look it up. I got my computer right here in front of me. Boosters movie cast. Boosters movie cast. No, not Boosters. I love Boosters. Was that my bad? That's my bad. I love Boosters. Cause I don't want to keep calling her the other girl. I love cast. What's her damn name? Her name was Mariah Taylor Page. That's the actress name. And I said Shay. Her name was Sade. Sade Naomi Ackley or Aki. Her name was Sade, not Shay. Demi Moore character was Christy. Okay, there you go. Don Cheadle was Dr. Jack, not Dr. Jackie. Okay, so I'm on the part now with they about to do their second job. Oh, God damn it. I hate this fucking movie. They're about to do their second job. The white girl doesn't show up for whatever reason. So Mariah has to pretend that she's more white, more bougie, light skinned. So in order for her to become light skinned, she holds her breath, and then she turns into Robin Thede, the comedian. She's basically the light skinned Mariah. So the whole premise is that they don't follow light skinned black people in the store. So again, because they have to keep these people distracted. Well, the staff zoned in on them and they followed everybody around, all the black people. But since Mariah has to hold her breath in order to be Robin Thede, when the staff comes to ask her questions, she can't talk to them. Okay, so every time she exhales, she turns back into her dark skinned self, and then she inhales and then she becomes this lighter version of herself. So I was like, okay, so I guess this is a sci-fi as well, fantasy as well, because they have all these odd characters that's happening. God, it's giving me a headache to even think about this fucking movie. Reclaim your time. You can stop watching this damn recap. Shit. So they go into this store. In this particular time, Keke and them, they stuffing clothes under their dress, inside their clothes, and things like that. Now, you've probably seen this clip online when they showed the trailer. Keke is walking out like a full fucking mummy, clothes stuffed all over her. Nobody notices that she has all this stuff stuffed under her clothing like that. They did a full walk across the parking lot. They walking at a normal pace. They leaning up against the vehicle talking before everybody get inside, and nobody notices that these chicks stole this shit. So again, Demi Moore's character gets on the news, gets online, start calling them all kind of bitches and hood rats and hoes and uh, gutter snipes and all kind of shit, and they get more mad at her. Okay, but like I said, when for some reason, how did they end up there? They ended up on a. They wanted to case some of her bigger high end stores to try to find these $100,000 suits that they keep hearing about, right? All her stores are monochrome. You go in, you find one fucking color. So this store carries all green. If you want another color, you got to go to another branch, right? So that's how her stores are set up. But once you get in the store, you see how bad the employees are being treated. They got their paychecks. Check is $38 fucking dollars. Okay. The person, the manager, is like a total fucking asshole. He just kisses the boss's ass, do whatever the fuck she wants. They get 30-second lunch breaks. They literally have, if you run a track and you have the sets, the blocks that you come out of when you're trying to run a sprint, they literally coming out of the blocks in order to go get their lunch in 30 seconds and be back into the fucking store. But the reason why these girls' checks are $38 is because they are required to look a certain way in order to work there, and their sense of style wasn't up to par with what Demi Moore's business model was. So they had to get clothing from the store. Well, again, this is a high-end store. So they had to pay for that shit and they didn't realize it. So their checks were like 38 fucking bucks. So that's when you first get the understanding that these motherfuckers is like she just don't give a fuck. Her whole, like I said, her whole premise is, I'm gonna make you miserable as hell, but you got to do the job for me, and you should be grateful for working for me. That's pretty much what Demi Moore's character was. She just carried this air of arrogance through the entire movie. Her character had no fucking arc. She didn't learn her lessons. She didn't come to a Jesus moment. She was a bitch through and through. And by the end, she was still saying, I'm going to come back, I'm going to rise, and I'm going to do it again. Okay. But again, Keke Palmer and them characters, Corvette, did not give a fuck about any of that. They only cared about the fact that she called them ghetto hood rat bitches. But again, they still looked up to her. So they ended up getting a job in this store. And when they got the job there, they was trying to find these doggone $100,000 suits, and they couldn't find them, right? So after a couple months, it comes to find out, they said they just need to rob this store. They need to just steal everything that's in this store and get that merch out on the street. And of course, that's what Sade's whole mission was. It's all she wants to do. Like I said, these women didn't care about working at all for real. They didn't want to work. Working was killing them. They just wanted to steal. So they needed to clean out the store. The two girls that was already working there in the store, they really didn't give a fuck about it because they was getting treated bad. One girl wanted to go up against the man, so to speak. She was the one that always wanted to talk to the boss and like get what we were do. We needed higher pay. We need longer lunches, things of that nature. But they were always shut down. Demi Moore's character was planning this big ass fashion show. So in order to hurt her pockets, they figured they steal everything from her stores one at a time. And that's how they were going to make do, right? Well, they tried to set up where they was going to get stuff stolen and they was going to steal everything, had the van ready, had the whole setup where the girls were going to be distracted. They knew the manager had an hour lunch compared to their 30-second lunch. And I mean 30 seconds, not 30 minutes, 30 seconds. So they were going to go rob the store while he was on lunch. But something happened that he had to call them back into a meeting. I think he was basically talking about, again, their sense of style. Keke Palmer and them was wearing last year's clothes. Okay. And since they weren't buying the clothes from the store, their checks was still looking kind of okay, decent. But he didn't want them to wear last year's clothes. He wanted them to be caught up. So he was having a little 5-minute meeting with them. In this 5 minutes, they come out, the whole fucking store is cleaned now. Somebody has robbed him. They watched the video, and it was some Asian girl who had a machine that was sucking up all the stuff. So now their mission is to find this girl because they need her on the team. They find this girl. First, it was contentious because she didn't speak much English. She didn't even know where the fuck she was at. Kind of find out she came from China and she teleported there. So that's when the sci-fi fantasy thing kicked in. She teleported there And she had this device that was sucking up all the clothes, and they said we're gonna work together and we're gonna hit all of the stores, right? Well, when she boosted that particular store that they worked in, Demi Moore got on TV again, blamed it on them again, called them all kind of bitches and hoes, which again set them off. God damn it. I hate this. I hate that I'm still talking about this fucking movie. So they get with the Asian girl. They decide that they're gonna work together to take down Demi Moore's character. While they were in one of the stores, they were changing in the color scheme that came in, and one of the outfits that came in happened to be a design that Keke Palmer made. So we learn here that she's also a fashion designer, and she had submitted it when she was supposed to do a contest with Demi Moore so she could be on her little fashion show at the end. But she never submitted her stuff. So somehow Demi Moore got hold of her design and she reprinted that design. So now Keke Palmer wants to get her back now. Now she feels that she's a snake and she's a dog because she stole her idea that she had never presented to the lady. So we learn about the Asian girl and about the machine, the device. So we go all the way over to China. We over in this factory over in China. Over in China, they have what we call sweatshops. These people are working for $2 a day or some shit like that, if that much. They losing their health because they're sandblasting denim and it's getting all in their lungs. People are getting cancer, lung disease. They dying all over the place in that factory. And they just want fair work, fair pay, healthcare, things of that nature. Also probably something with lunches too, I think was going on over there too. And one girl and her cousin stumbled across the machine. They saw how they were trying to speed up efficiency. So they were sending packages through this machine and it was ended up in America trying to avoid shipping charges and tariff charges and things like that. They set it in their mind to steal the machines and wipe out all the clothes, get them out of there. So that's what her cousin did. And they were stealing the machines and this, that, and the third. And she ended up coming to America to clean out all of her stores to do that. So that's why she hit that first store. But now, like I said, they're working together. She wants to fight for the people back in China. Keke wants to fight for the fact that this lady stole her stuff. Shay just wants to steal all the shit so they can get some money. The other girl, I think she was just there for the fun of it. Mariah. I really think she was just there for the fun of it. She liked the dressing up and pretending that she was somebody that she wasn't, things like that. Very eccentric character. So they go through trying to set up where they're robbing all these stores. Well, now Demi Moore's character has caught on. Okay, so she has changed all the fronts of her stores. She has made their front door literal vaults and got armed guards standing outside the door. So they're having a hard time trying to rob her down and trying to get in to get all these clothes because they're waiting on them. Fast forward because I'm tired of talking about this shit. We sitting down and we're talking to the girls because they're trying to figure out how are we going to get around all these armed vaults? How are we going to get around the stores and actually hit Demi Moore's character where it hurts? While they're talking about that, we learn that Lakeith Stanfield character had hooked up with one of Sade's friends. Then we get this whole 10-minute scene of the friend having sex with Lakeith Stanfield character, and then he goes down on her. So for about a good 5 minutes, they're levitated in the air, and he's sucking her pussy. And he's sucking her pussy so hard that she is squirting and coming all in his face, all in his hair. It's dripping all over the place. And I'm speaking literally. This was in the movie. It's dripping all over the place. And as she's squirting and releasing more and more fluids, she's drying out. She's drying out to the point that the bitch is dead. But we look and but they pan out and see that they're levitating the shit. Lakeith Stanfield character has turned into a creature. He has the torso and the head of Lakeith Stanfield, but the rest of his body is like a scorpion. The tail is swinging and other things, and he's growling and he's furious and he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Again, this is a 10-minute scene in this movie. As he's sucking her soul through her pussy, we just see the scene. And so Kiki makes up her mind, well, I guess I don't need to call him in. So they decide in this moment that they're going to try to hit the fashion show. They got to figure out a way to get in. Again, I'm finna skip ahead somewhat. They see Lakeith Stanfield on the bus. Kiki don't want to speak to him, but she has to because now we realize that he's going to be a model in this fashion show. And they need to get inside. He at first was kind of put off by her because she didn't call him back, but like he's like, no, I could do anything for you. He's like so smitten and so attracted to her. I don't understand why. Okay, he's so smitten and so attracted to her. He sneaks her in the door, and they have it set up where they're going to use these little machines to suck all of her clothes in. And while they're playing with this machine, they realize there's some other modes. It's not just suck the clothes away and teleport it to another area. They could rapid accelerate the clothing. There was a club scene where they did something to a dude too, and some girl, and some shoes, just testing the machine out. They could, so basically what the clothes are meant to be in the future, they could accelerate that shit, and then that's what they did. But then they also found out it has a deconstruct mode. So it would take whatever that piece of clothing was, and they could deconstruct it back down to the original concept. Now, doing this scene, they accidentally hit Mariah with the machine. Well, actually, they were playing around, and they was like, deconstructing and reconstructing and accelerating and all that shit. Changing outfits into certain different clothes. I think they had changed Mariah into this suit where she's wearing this knitted suit with these big ass titties, and she sat there and she played with the nipples the whole time while she was talking. But at some point, I don't remember exactly the order of it, they accidentally deconstructed Mariah. When they deconstructed Mariah, two people ended up on the floor fucking their asses off. It was like watching porn. And they kept focusing on them, and everybody's like, ooh, ooh. And they realized it's Mariah's parents. They deconstructed her so much, they deconstructed her back to the time in which she was conceived. Okay, she was just the sperm about to travel into her mama. They was fucking hard on the floor. They showed this scene for about a good 10 to 15 minutes also. If it wasn't that long, it felt like it. And there was people in the theater that was actually laughing. And I wasn't. I didn't laugh. I didn't crack a fucking smile through this whole goddamn movie at all. That scene lasted forever, 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 forever. We get to the fashion show, child. They are hitting up the audience and trying to deconstruct and reconstruct, and it's a big ass chase. They're trying to chase down Kiki, and they realize that they could transport over to China, and while they're over in China, it's people over there trying to track down the cousin of the Asian girl. And so they got so much stuff running around, and she flip-flopping back and forth, teleporting back and forth to the machines, and they get tracked down by Demi's people on this side, and they run into who the people are, and the people got on the suits. And these supposedly are the $100,000 suits that they've been looking for. So they tell these people to strip, right? So it's Dr. Jack, all the people that was on the news, who was all the black people that you don't want to be black when you see them watching the news. It was them. They were all wearing these $100,000 suits, so they made them strip down. So once they got naked, and they was like taking off everything, keep taking it off. They took off their underwear and everything, and then they started unzipping their skin. They stepped out of their skin, and that's all you saw was veins, nerves, eyeballs. And for some reason, they made sure they showed all the little dicks and balls of all the characters. And come to find out that the suits were skin. Demi Moore had did some type of deal with these people where they could do skin removal. And I'm assuming that's a dig at the body augmentation portion of, beauty. They completely remove their skin. That old saying, all thing I gotta do is stay black and die. Well, you ain't gotta stay black no more. We can give you this $100,000 suit, and you could be whoever the fuck you want to be whenever you want to be it. And so eventually these people gave chase. They in these skin suits, chasing them through town. They got guns. I don't know where they got the guns from because they gave up all the clothes and they didn't have no damn pockets. But they got guns and they shooting. So it's a chase through town. And Kiki and them trying to like deconstruct shit. And like I said, she has a steady jump back and forth through China. And oh God, it's annoying me. It's annoying me. She had to jump back and forth through China. They accidentally accelerated a police vehicle, so it became some futuristic space mobile that was going after them too. That couldn't be destroyed, so to speak. And then it just became a big chase. It just became a big chase back and forth, back and forth. Got the skin people chasing after them. You got the big old truck chasing after them. You got the Asian people over in China chasing after them. Keke Palmer is jumping back and forth between China and the fashion show or the streets of wherever this fucking city was supposed to be. And somehow, in the end, they were able to hit everybody with the accelerator, because it ended up being three machines: an accelerator, somebody was in self acceleration mode, somebody was in deconstruct mode, all at the same damn time. So everybody inside the fashion industry changed into people in rainbow color outfits and had picket signs that they were going to boycott against Demi Moore's character. The factory that was in China that was also Demi Moore's, the people there decided they were going to strike too. And this led to strikes all over the world. And again, Demi Moore character, who was actually a fucking prodigy, didn't give a fuck. She was like, y'all stupid, ghetto anyway. I'm gonna rise again because I'm a prodigy any fucking way. Keke Palmer and them still didn't come up out the chicken shack. They didn't move and better their lives. They ended up with one skin suit left. I don't know where she was gonna sell that skin suit off to, but you know, Sade was gonna hawk the skin suit. I don't even know, did Mariah have a ending arc to her story? I don't think she did. That was the movie, y'all. That was the movie. I walked up out the theater, and I like I said, I heard people chuckling. There was people laughing. I couldn't understand why they was fucking laughing. I couldn't understand what the fuck they thought was funny or good or entertaining about this goddamn movie. I was walking out the theater, and I was walking out with this young lady, or this young lady was walking in front of me, and I had made the statement out loud. I said, "That was the dumbest shit I ever seen in my fucking life." And she was like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying it was the dumbest shit that I ever seen in my motherfucking life." She said, "I don't know what the fuck we just watched." She was mad too. And then that's what led me to go to my car and do that. If you want to watch it, feel free to watch it. You know, I'm not recommending it to you. I'm not recommending it to you. Go ahead and watch it. Somebody said in the comments the other day that one of their friends liked the movie. I truly want to know what they liked about it. What did Paula Spix? If you see this video, ask your friend what the fuck did she like about that movie. I can't. Like I say, even though that there was a message there, the movie itself was bad. It was fucking horrible. That's all I got to say about that, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to do that. Peace.